Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Titan Futures, the daily live stream. I run a little behind here this morning, hopefully you guys are joining us. It's 9:37. We're going to kind of get right to it. We're going to have Mitchell and Soto join us today, hopefully. Guys, can you hear me?
I got you.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mitchell and Soto both joining in. Hopefully you guys can hear that. So we kind of jump right into it. There's a disclaimer, kind of take a few seconds to read that. It's very important. We kind of make sure that everybody understands these are recommendations. I mean, these are not recommendations, I should say. It's all for educational purposes only, okay? So make sure you understand that. But take the time to go back and look at this disclaimer. So let's just jump into the market since we're kind of late, guys, and kind of see what we have going on. So hopefully you can start to see my chart here in just 1 second. Let me kind of confirm to me, guys, that you can see my. Let me know when you can see my chart.
Okay.
All right. Hopefully y'all can see that by now.
Yep.
Can y'all see that?
Yep.
Mitchell, you can? Soto, you
I can. Yep.
Assuming Soto can then. Great. All right. Well, like I said, we're getting a late start here. We had looks like an opportunity, but volume obviously too high, knowing that it's right at the open there, so we're not going to rush into it. But let's kind of take a quick look at some stuff here. Let me draw a little order flow profile here real quick. Based on what I'm seeing, just going to draw that out here just to see kind of where, yeah, look at that, it's perfectly right at the VPOC, but bounced off, so that was awesome right there. That was a good trade, except for just the volume was high, which it's at the open, so you know it's going to spike, right? I mean, we all know that. So we'll just kind of watch it here and see how it plays out the rest of this morning and see how price wants to move. So we'll just kind of take it a little bit at a time. So as we're kind of waiting for volume to kind of slow down for us a little bit, in the price action, let me kind of just jump in and just talk about the channel again real fast for the fact that need to kind of make sure people are still aware of kind of what the channel's about here. So again, I mean, check out the channel, guys, if you're interested into it. You can look at the channel description here. You can see some stuff about the Auto Trader, which is great there if you're interested in any of that. But I wanted to talk about this channel. It's a free educational trading channel, okay? I mean, we want to kind of introduce you to the world of trading and the way we see it and the way we do it. I think we have a great method that we use here and teach, and it's all for free, by the way. So we can kind of get you some great trading education for free, and it's a proven method and that will and has the potential to change the way you live, quite honest. So it's something to definitely take serious, okay? It's real, and it can, quite honestly, give you a better life if you choose to do that and you have the desire to make that happen. But the channel here is that you want to be very positive, very respectful. I want it to be a very stress-free environment. I want it to be very encouraging. I want people to enjoy coming to this channel and not feel intimidated, even though we've got between all of us, we're pushing 25, 30 years of trading experience probably. So it's not something to be scared if you're brand new. That's not the point. You'll find out as you stay with this channel. I think you're going to find out that we're all pretty laid back here. I guess I could say I'm the veteran for the 20 plus years, but we got Mitchell and Soto that are new to trading, but they've done extremely well with the method here, and so well, in fact, that I consider them kind of instructors of the method. And when they give insight, we want to listen to that. They're proven to be able to control their emotions thus far, which is the biggest obstacle in trading, not the method. There's many ways to make money in the market and many methods that work, but it ultimately comes down to you. Okay, so let's make sure we understand that. So with that being said, the emotions of greed and things like that are tough to get through. So, and this channel needs to be very positive and encouraging, and we want to help you kind of get through that. So So remember, join the channel, subscribe if you don't mind, and I hope you kind of hang around and learn and be positive and be active in the chat. I want you guys to ask questions. There's no dumb questions here, guys. So ask away. We're going to be very positive, and we love the interaction, as you can see in the description. But take the time to read it, kind of go through it, subscribe to the channel. We got playlists, links to the playlist. There's a few rules, and the rules are very simple. Be positive, be respectful, encourage others, and treat others, quite honestly, the way you want to be treated. That's what this is about here. Okay, there's no egos. They're all checked at the door, so to speak. And it doesn't matter if you've been trading for 50 years or you've been trading since the markets have been open. You're still kicking around. It doesn't matter if you've never even looked at a chart before and this is your first involvement into it. So check, we want you to be happy. I guess that's the best way to say it. So no foul language, obviously. We don't want that. No negativity, okay? Enjoy the channel. We always welcome constructive criticism here. So if you have any kind of things you'd like to see or you thought maybe something might work a little better, then hey, we'd love to hear it, as long as it's constructive. This is a new venture for us here with the channel and doing live streams. So you'll find that, especially myself, I call it summer around here. I've got a lot of thoughts going through my mind, and I might be very sporadic in those at times. And so hanging with us, but if you do have constructive criticism, please lay it on the line. We'd like to hear it. But anyway, that's enough about the channel. You can read the descriptions there, and so we'll kind of get back to watching trading here. So guys, everybody doing all right this morning? I know we're kind of late to the party here, getting started, but we'll hopefully we'll see some trades this morning, and then we'll be able to jump on them. But how are you guys doing?
I'm doing well.
All right, good. Mitchell, that's great. Soto?
Doing great. I'm looking for a potential trade here at 820. What do you think about that zone, and do you guys have it?
I have the 820 zone as well. Personally, I have my trade sitting at 28.8750. Reason being is now I am looking at order flow, but it's kind of a strong little area right there, and I feel like that even if it does go a little bit past me, that it will still, I'm in a conservative area where it won't blow through the entire zone.
Yeah, good. I like both of those areas. I've drawn them on the chart. I think that's a great zone to be looking at here for a potential demand zone for long if it comes to us. If all our checklist kind of plays out, and then we definitely will look at that. I like the entry area at 850. That's a good entry area. We kind of have, as you can see where my cursor's sitting now, that's the 850 area. And you have a lot of close, you have a lot of wicks right in that area, and a lot of support right in that area. So I think anywhere in that range, you're going to have, as long as volume tells us it's a good opportunity, I think we'll see a little bit of a bounce right out of that area. And then if we can get into that, then that's great, So we'll kind of just let it play out and kind of watch it, and then just be patient and see what the market gives us. Okay, but I think that's a good area to look at first. Some people might ask about this area right here that we're kind of bouncing around in, this little sideways action where I have my cursor. Not comfortable with that because we didn't have very good conviction from the buyers right there to break through that resistance. So we didn't really have good takeoff, if you could say that. If as you learn supply and demand, and you'll kind of understand what I'm saying there. So I really don't like that, but we definitely have conviction down in this area. That we pointed out, that Soto pointed out there as a trade, and we're both all kind of sitting there watching to see what price action is going to do, and I think it's a good area. So that's kind of the mindset, the thought process now. So don't get caught up in what you're seeing happen right now. Yeah, it might take off and go in the other direction, and might go long, and that's fine with us. Not an issue there. We'll kind of watch for trades, and we'll kind of just wait and be patient and see what happens. But do you guys at this point see any kind of resistance areas that you would like to look at, supply zones? You see anything there?
I have not gone all the way back to see, but as of now, I'm thinking which now my chart is just going through yesterday.
Right.
Um, but I'm not seeing anything. I feel like we came up to where we are now since yesterday.
Sure.
So I don't believe we have any resistance if we're going off 2 days worth of market movement.
Okay. All right, so as you can see, I've dropped back to a 60-minute chart here, and you can see from a 60-minute standpoint, you see some area. You do see a little bit of resistance up here at the top, so I'll kind of draw that out. So we kind of have a demand zone that's kind of turned into a supply zone, potential supply zone at this point. So I'll kind of draw it out just for the purposes of looking that there might be some reaction up at that area there. So I'll go ahead and draw that a supply area potentially, and we'll kind of just watch and see how price reacts to that. I think this 0425 might be a good area, but let's just kind of drop it back down now and see what we see. Okay.
Regarding the, you say you're in the 60-minute candles. I'm trying to look back. What do you think about 8 o'clock? Let's see, from August 25th.
Oh,
So that's
going back on me here. Let me see. Let me
Okay.
get back.
I'm looking at it.
Let me get back
I
into
realize-
a minute here. August 25th. Okay. Yeah, here we go. You're talking about a 8 o'clock candle on August 26th? You mean?
26.
No, the 20. You're talking about the 23rd of it. You're talking about a resistance candle, right?
Yes. Now I lost it. Hold on. 25th. What was it? Yeah, maybe the 23rd or 24th.
Yeah, I think you're probably looking at the 23rd. You're saying the 8 o'clock all the way up this.
Yeah, 8 o'clock.
Up here.
It's,
That's the 10 o'clock that you're seeing right now is the 10 o'clock, but you go right before that. That's the 8 o'clock on the 23rd. Is that what you're referring to?
no, I think it's. Of course, I'm sorry. My screen is blurry when I look at your screen, so it's hard to see.
Oh, it's blurry on your screen's blurry.
For me,
my screen's blurry for you.
that's correct. But that's just, I think it's just on me.
Mitchell, is
I think
my
that's
screen blurry on you too, or no?
That's the one I'm talking about, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right on it.
That's 8 o'clock there. Okay.
Yeah, like two back. If you look two back right there.
Yeah, that's the right candle. Then that's the 6 o'clock candle. That would be a good area right there potentially. I think we got to get through this first resistance actually on that same day at the 10 o'clock candle first, which is the one I've got drawn up. I think we'd have to get
that
through,
10 o'clock?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
we have to get through that first because that's a good rejection wick on an hourly candle there, that 10 o'clock that I have my cursor on. But it will catch up here in just a second.
That's on the 23rd, right?
That's the 23rd. Yeah, you'll see it right there. My cursor should have moved to that point now. That's the candle that's got some very good rejection. A good rejection wick, which is going to end up showing that was a lot of buyers right there. So as we broke through that, now we expect that to actually become resistance, okay, from a support and resistance standpoint, which resistance, is also supply in the right areas, so we want to watch that. That would be my first level and first line of looking to take a trade here, or at least looking for a potential of a trade from a resistance standpoint is what I've got marked up. So I'm going to drop back down to 5 minutes so we can kind of get a little bit more of a microscope look and just kind of watch price and see what it wants to do.
I believe we're coming in kind of close to our 820 zone.
We are, yeah.
If it keeps going the way it's going.
We sure are. That's exactly right. So we'll kind of keep watching that and see if anything presents itself here. just kind of keep watching it and see what it does for us. We'll watch price action. This is the fun part about trading. You have to be patient, and when you get big moves like this, we just have to kind of wait for the price to kind of slow down and get into our area of trading. That's part of the fun part about it. Let's see here.
Okay, so we just to be on the same page, we are waiting for the 820 zone. Our 905 zone was already triggered, and I have one other one that's a little down there. I don't know if it'll get down there this morning, but 450 today, going on the 5-minute candles on Eastern time, 450 this morning. I
I
have
have that one as well, Soto.
Okay.
I have my blue line placed at 28.72 on that one.
All right, and when he says blue line, we kind of look to see where we're going to put a trade, and we put a little blue line just to be able to decide when to put a trade in at that location when the time is coming our way. So
How are you? Let me add that since you guys have brought that up, how are you deciding where that blue line goes? What's your thought process and decision making in it when it comes to putting in your trigger line? Is what that is basically. So, but you guys have it's a little blue line, but that's your trigger line. So, how are you guys both? I'd like to hear both of you kind of explain it separately, but I'd like to hear what your thought process is. Why that blue line you guys have at 872 right now? Why is that?
Well, for me, and like I said, I'm also looking at order flow. The different chart. But where it's just a very strong area, there's some unfilled orders below it, as well as it's sitting right on the VPOC. So most of the orders were filled in that area previously. And so that's kind of where I like to trade. It's a little deep in the zone personally. You could place a trade a little bit higher up in price, but I feel like where I've got my line, if volume is doing what it needs to do, it's either going to make it to me and get the point, or it won't make it to me at all.
Okay, I like it. That's good. I like all that. Soto, what's your thoughts there?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with Mitchell. But if I'm not using order flow, what I do is once I decide on my supply demand zone, I will look back at the candles prior to that time and see where the most touches were, closes and opens, to come and give me an idea where the money's sitting. Again, not looking at order flow, and then based on that, I will place a trade where I feel more comfortable, where the most opens or touches were or closes were in that area.
Okay, nice. Well, I like that explanation too. That's a good one. So I think both of the explanations are very informative. They're very well thought out. They use good methodology and the thought process there, and that's a big key. And so I want everyone to hear that, and I like both of the reasonings for that. So good job. So tell me right here then, based on your zone here, this is just for people that are if they understand supply and demand, they might say, well, I've got zones before that. Why are you waiting to get all the way down there? So let's just take an example, and I'd like you guys kind of to educate me on why you would not have chosen this zone, or why do you feel like this zone is not an active zone prior to. So let's go back to, let's say the back here, the 6 o'clock this morning, 6 to 6:05 area. Those two candles there, why would you consider that not a zone, or is it a zone? And if it is a zone, why is it not your next zone that you have in play? Can you tell me that?
Yeah, I think it definitely was a zone. And the problem with that zone for me right now is that it has already been triggered or touched multiple times until now. Whereas this zone, which is not very, it's right near it, but it will it hasn't been touched yet. So for me, once the zone's been touched, really 2 times, I leave it alone. It becomes a little more unpredictable. It's easier for the trigger candle to go all the way through the zone. So for me, I like to place a trade within the first 2 touches of a zone, unless it's just extremely strong and it's been respecting it over and over again. But for that, I would just leave it alone.
Soda, what's your thoughts there?
I mean, I think he had it right on. It is a zone, but it's already been used, like you said, or triggered. It's been triggered at the let's see, well, even at 6:15, but it's been triggered at 7 o'clock, from what I can see without drawing anything. So yeah,
Perfect.
so great.
Now, 6 o'clock technically hasn't been triggered yet, but it's so close to that 6:05. The zone may actually lie in between those. So 6 o'clock is I have it drawn and I'm watching it because technically it hasn't been touched. But these candles, they don't, where they stop and where they start isn't always finite. So you got to kind of really watch that one. There potentially still is a trade, but I feel like everything needs to line up very, very well to take one in that area.
Good. No, yeah, that's great, guys. I'm glad you are. That makes me happy to hear y'all how you're thinking there. But the explanation that I wanted, would y'all hit, both of you got it. But you nailed it. The main reason that zone in the 615, the 605 area, it was a great zone. But like you said, it's already been triggered. It's got potentially one touch for 100% for sure. Potentially 2 touches, just depending on where you drew your zone. But those have already been fired out of. I still think there might be a little bit of a slowdown of price in that area, but for not for what we're looking for. But you're 100% correct. You guys nailed it on the head. It was already triggered, and that's what I was looking for. I wanted to hear that it was already triggered, and because people, if you understand supply and demand, you might not realize that had already been triggered, and I wanted that pointed out. So good job, guys. That was good. So we'll just kind of keep talking and keep looking at different things and talking about your thought processes and philosophy here as we move forward. But I'm just kind of wanted to hear all that. So good job. All right, we're just definitely in sideways action right now. So anybody got any potential movements here? Or is it just to sit on your hands and be patient?
It's a patient moment for me.
Perfect. Yep, that's what it is. That's what it is. It's a patient moment.
Yeah. Same here. If this current candle takes off, which I don't think it will, but if it does, we got a potential new zone within the old zone at the 10 o'clock candle. So I'm always looking for new opportunities to be ready to draw those zones if and when they appear. But that's just my mentality. But regarding trading, I'm not doing anything right now until it goes down and it picks me up at around the 820 candle, or if volume picks up, I won't trade there, and I will wait until it goes down to the 450 zone. So I got to keep in mind on volume to see which one is going to go first. And again, I expect that it will go to the 820 first, but that's why I'm watching volume very closely to tell me what's going to do.
Good. And that's it. Yep. We watch things intra-candle. We watch things for we watch price action play itself out, and it will tell us when to get in. It'll tell us the story. We just have to be patient and wait for that. And like you said, so that the 10 o'clock candle is definitely a good doji candle. It's an inside candle. This is going to determine. This is going to either become a potential supply candle or a demand candle area. So we have to watch and see how it plays out over the next few candles here, so we'll just have to be patient. But you're right, that's going to be a candle of, there's a lot of battling going on right now, and who's going to take control here. And I think this 10 o'clock candle will be in the future will be tested again as far as either a supply or demand zone. But for right now, we're just going to be patient and watch it play out and let the story unfold, and just be ready to react when our opportunity comes.
That's great. let's see. How's the if you well, maybe I shouldn't ask, but I was going to ask Mitchell regarding order flow. How's the 10 o'clock candle? Is it have they left it on cap or cap?
It's capped on both.
Okay. What
Deepak,
about
Deepak at the body.
okay? What about the eight? Is that 820 candle?
It's capped on both.
Okay. And what about the other one? 450, I think. Yeah, 450.
Uncapped on bottom.
Okay. On the bottom. Okay. Thank you.
And that whole order flow process is something as I get to the lesson on that in our chart, I mean in our on our channel there, as I get to that lesson, and we'll start introducing that chart into the live stream, but really not until that point.
Right. Yeah. Sorry, I should probably bring it up, but
No, that's fine. No, that's fine that we're doing it. It's just somebody might not understand what that is, and I'm just letting them know that yeah, there's more to this method. There's more pieces to this method, and we'll as I lay that out on the YouTube channel as far as the methodology playlist goes. Then once we laid the whole method out, we'll bring all the charts into play. Okay, that way people can see the full thing. I just didn't want to confuse them from a chart standpoint yet. So that's fine that we talk about it because it's part of our method. So we want to look at that, and it's not the overall deciding factor, but it's also but it's something if it goes in a zone that we have that's uncapped. It's a terminology there. If it's uncapped, it's definitely something that depends on where we place our entries. So we'll kind of use it for that purpose.
I have a quick question about order flow, Brian, if
Yeah.
you don't mind me asking.
Not a problem.
So, if you're using order flow and say if you use the chart and you lay your trade line like we've been practicing in our channel, but when you look back at order flow, if that trade is on a capped, if it's on a capped line,
Uh-huh.
do you still trade that, or do you trust order flow in that instance?
No, I will still trade it if everything lines up. If everything's perfect, I'll still trade it, even though we have a capped candle. The capped order flow or the uncapped order flow candle is more for confirmation for me as far as getting in a deeper zone. But as far as a trading mechanism by itself, it's not a standalone. It can't stand alone as far as the way I use it. If that's the case, unfortunately, our trades would be so far and few between when everything lines up. But it's more of a confirmation as far as the zone itself and in the order flow candle. What are the numbers looking like? Or what's the imbalances looking like? Where's the pivot? Are the POC in that candle? And I can still get into the trade even though it's capped on both sides. If all the zones line up around the POC, let's say the VPOC of that order flow candle. So there's a lot of different factors there, but that's kind of the way I see it in general. It's not a make or break on the trade.
Okay,
Does that make
that's
sense to you?
yeah, that's really I've been wondering that for a while now because I don't know whether to spend more time in my order flow chart or spend more time in my candle chart.
Sure,
So
sure.
it's one of those things that kind of I battle with in my head and my own sanity as far as what do I need to be doing because you can only look at so many things at one time.
Sure.
Uh,
And
so
that's
that,
and I think you've kind of nailed it on the key. You nailed it on the head right there as far as we don't want to overwhelm ourselves with so many things to look at that we lose focus on the whole picture. And the whole picture here is definitely um, price action first, and then volume, and then as far as how that's playing, how the picture's playing out, and then as order flow as confirmations, as far as inside of that order flow candle, and this is something we'll talk to you guys even more about how to read that, and what you'll end up learning is in that order flow candle. Just because something's uncapped doesn't mean that's the only place we take the trade out of that order flow candle. So, or that order flow chart there. So, just be aware of it. Watch how it moves. I mean, watch the VPOCs in there, the highs and lows. The the dominating side of those candles, where all the money's at, and the numbers make a difference, and I'll explain those more in our lessons, but the numbers of the order flow candles makes a difference. So there's about 5 different aspects that we have to look inside the order flow candle to make good trading decisions out of that candle, and being capped or uncapped is just one of those.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yep. So we'll get more in depth with that on the kind of the internals of the order flow. We'll kind of get a little more in depth on that. Okay.
All right. Yep. That was very informative.
Yep. So we just kind of watch our zones. We're starting to get a little bit moved down in here. So we'll just kind of start. Our ears kind of start to perk up just a little bit here. When our eyes, it starts to catch a little bit of attention when we know price is getting closer to a zone that we feel is a good, in this case, a great demand zone. All of the check marks have kind of been checked off for a demand zone here. So, and there's multiple check marks to those, right? And what creates a demand zone and what confirms a demand zone. There's multiple pieces to that, and you guys are very good at those. So I think we all agree that this is a great, a really good command zone potentially here that we want to look to trade out of. And you guys picked that up very quickly, which was good. So we'll just kind of watch it. I mean, first thing we got to understand, is price could just blow right through that zone, right? So, but we do know that price will usually not blow through this zone if our other checklist pieces are in play, and that comes volume, that comes to a multiple different things, so it's that's the good thing about how I feel about our method here. Not one piece of it is an entry signal by itself, right? We kind of need everything together to kind of happen, or
And that's
be
one of the
happening.
And that's one of the biggest challenges really with doing this is keeping that checklist in your head in order and going through it every time. I feel like that is a little bit of a learning curve, but it's imperative that every piece of the puzzle is there instead of just what you want to be there. Instead of forcing a trade, you have to make sure that it's all there before you take it.
Absolutely. Yep. And that just comes from learning the method, being disciplined with the method, and having confidence that when those pieces check up and those pieces check out, it's going to be a high probability opportunity. And that's what the name of this game is for us, is high probability opportunities, for the fact that, hey, man, we have a very tight stop, and we have a tight stop for a reason. And it forces us to get really good at picking our entries into our trades. And like you said, it makes us have to be patient and wait on those opportunities. So that's the name of this game, is being patient, waiting for the right opportunity to trigger in the trade. And we just have to be able to be disciplined enough to do that. So we'll kind of get active and kind of watch and kind of see what's going on. And at this point, and start to see that what are these 3 candles, what are these 4 or 5 candles right here telling us right now? I mean, just from a pure price action standpoint, what do they tell y'all? So?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah. You talking about the last 3 here that
Yeah, the last 3's fine. Yeah. What's that? Is that telling us anything?
Well, I think it's a little indecision. The retail guys are trying to go down. Volume is kind of low. I think they're just picking up orders. I think they're accumulating before they take off. They're picking up some orders down. But you got some rejection on top. You got spinning tops, and then you got a doji. So I think they're just slowly picking up orders before they take off.
Okay.
But I think they're slowly coming our way, and hopefully they'll go pick us up and go long. So, but that's all I know. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right. I just want you to make notice to these candles and kind of talk through price action. I mean, those 3 candles are telling you something, as far as what's really going on. If you didn't have the order flow, if you didn't have the time and sales window even that's showing up right here, if you didn't have that kind of stuff, these candles alone are telling you a story right here. as far as how the market is moving. You know, there's a lot of indecisions. It's slow. The market's slow. It's not making big movements down or big movements up. It's just kind of, we got rejections on both sides right here. So that tells you that there's a lot of buyers and sellers in this area, whether they be retailers or not, or institutions, which we really know they're not institutions, but they're retailers here. And we're waiting for a direction. And what you're seeing is prices just slowing down, you know, and we're kind of indecision. What do we want to do right here? What's going to happen, or what's going on, or you know, there's no real big direction at this point. So that's really all I wanted to kind of point out, is the fact that, hey, market's slow in here. Let's watch it. You know, let's see what's going to happen. And I'd imagine when we kind of get down into our zone, it's going to get into our zone. And when it gets into our zone, I imagine you'll see things pick up. And then that's kind of an idea. We know, okay, these are institutional guys here. So we kind of are, and that's when we'll get on our trade, you know. But for the time being, this is retail stuff going on right here. So we just kind of let it slow down into our areas, and watching volume very, very closely, watching the bodies of the candlesticks and seeing, hey, what's happening, and it's telling you a story. Just learn to read the story, you know, learn to listen and recognize, and that's what we're doing here on this channel, just kind of learning that. So we're starting to move into our zone a little bit with a bigger body candle. So let's just kind of see how this is going to play out here. You know, you guys have entries. Your best entry at this point, you saying, is around 87.50, right? That's where you guys would like, if it plays out. That's where you're talking about letting it play out. So that's great. I like that. I like that. So we'll kind of watch it and see if it has a potential to come into our zone here. Okay.
Soto, where do you have your trade line placed?
Yeah, 88.5. I'm kidding.
87.5.
I'm joking, guys. Just joking.
It's like, good luck, gunslinger.
80, I'm looking between 87.75 and 87.5. I'm kind of seeing what kind of candle it gives me, what kind of rejection it gives me here. But right now, based on that, I'm going to probably go to the 0.5. I was hoping it would come down first. I don't like that it's going up first.
Yeah, so I agree with that.
I'm going to go a little lower right now. What do you, PK? This is a question I guess I've had for you for a long time. Is I was expecting this to go down first. For me to feel more comfortable, I wanted the price to go down, the new candle to go down first, pick me up, then go up, you know, build that rejection wick. Now, I know that was not the case for the previous candle. Obviously, they went up first, then they came down because it's going to be a bear candle. In this case, the 1020, either we missed the turn here, which is fine, no problem, I don't care.
Right.
Or it's either creating a rejection wick and then it's going to come down to us. Would it be wise to wait and have a smaller body? Because right now that's going to be a big rejection wick if it does come our way.
Yeah.
Or wait until they break the zone and use it as a supply zone instead of demand. Or wait a couple more candles and you know, see what happens. How do you feel? What do you think? And what will you do?
Yeah. Well, I mean, as far as the candle going up first versus going down, I'm not 100% just making decisions based on that, whether I'll make this trade or not, even if it has a long rejection wick here and a small body, then it's still, and everything still lines up, it still works for me. So, but we're going to have to just kind of watch it. I mean, yeah, it could this could be turned into a supply zone up here at our 10 o'clock candle we were talking about, but I don't like the break out of that bottom there, out of that support from the 955 candle there. So I wouldn't really, at this point, I need more follow through to the downside for that to become a really good supply area if we decide to go back into that. But from here, I'm just still kind of watching my zone here, being patient, watching price action do what it's going to do. But as far as the direction of the candle when it first starts off, I'm not just um, making a decision one way or the other. I mean, I don't know if that answered your question or not, or if
That did. That did. So I guess I should not be. So I guess is it a waste of time for me to look at that?
No,
Or
first-
unnecessary.
No. First of all, it's not a waste of time at all for you to think what you're thinking and seeing what you're seeing and what's your perspective on that. That's not a waste of time. So I want first off, I don't want you to say that because that's definitely not the case.
Okay.
I feel like volume is increasing a little bit possibly here on this candle. We could see it increase over the previous candle.
Potentially, yeah. Right now we're definitely still in a low volume situation on this candle. I mean, we're at 6,600 roughly, so we got some volume, but it's still not any kind of conviction one way or the other thus far. We'll just kind of keep watching and then see what could happen. It could take off out of this zone right here. This is because if you look to the left here, there's a lot of support right here, right? I mean, we got 3 areas of support right here. So it could definitely take out of this area and never even get to our zone. There's a lot of support right here, right?
Right.
So that's something we have to look at and kind of decide, okay, that's okay. If it decides to take off right here, that's fine with us. You know, it didn't come to us. One thing that the method teaches is you wait for price to come to you, and you take the trade on your when you want to, not when the market says you got to chase me because I've already left. This is not how we trade. We wait for price to come to us, and we get in based on our methodology and our terms, not on anybody else's terms. Okay, so there's no telling. This thing could take off without us, and that's okay. We have to be all right with that. But we definitely want to just kind of hang out and wait for price to come into our area that we have predetermined. That's a good area, and we're comfortable taking the trade if everything lines up. That's kind of what we'll do. We'll be patient for that. Remember, we're only looking to take no more than 3 trades a day, really. Where this thing is all about taking 1 point out of the market every day, and you'll grow your account exponentially if you can do that. And that's kind of what we want to do. But so we're going to be patient for our trades here, and we're going to wait for price to come to our area based on our method that we're comfortable with. Okay, so if it takes off, no big deal, right?
No big deal. I was just
Are you
praying
sure?
so I get a point.
Huh?
No, I'm kidding. Sorry.
You better not have taken a trade, man.
Oh no, I'm saying it. Sorry, I should probably not be very sarcastic here.
No,
But
you should be. I think that's great.
yeah, I stayed up all night, guys, and I got a couple trades overnight in the
Oh.
European. I'm kidding, just joking.
A lot of good moves happen in the European market now. So
It did.
in the European session, that's a lot of good moves.
For
So-
sure, if I was the auto trader, I would definitely be into that, but I'm not.
Yeah. All right, so we had a good push out of this area right here. Obviously, there was a lot of buyers right there in that area. Just didn't get down to our predetermined area, which is okay. But we're still kind of sideways here. I mean, you guys agree with that? We're very sideways still, kind of, in the big picture. So we kind of just need to be patient, man. Let's not get eaten up in all this sideways stuff. Let's relax and just be patient and talk about other things. And when the trade presents itself, it needs to be obvious, right? We don't want to force this trade. We don't want to force any kind of trade. If our methodology, when you learn our methodology and you decide to trade it, it's very, very simple, guys. First off, let me just tell you, it's very simple. If the trades don't pop out to you and jump out to you and say, here, with a flashing sign like take me,
Right.
we don't trade it. It's that simple. We're patient. We wait, because those trades are going to be the ones that are going to end up turning into the best trades, and we're going to end up getting over time when we kind of introduce you to multiple contracts and multiple runners, then you're going to end up, those things are going to take off nicely. Just like yesterday, we had just a trade with just 2 contracts and netted 6 points out of that. So, that's enough points for 2 weeks, right? Based on our methodology. So if I wanted to take the next 2 weeks off, I could, and still be on track, right? And well, obviously we're not going to do that, but the point is that trade was perfect, wasn't it? I mean,
I
Right.
mean, if you go back and watch yesterday's video, you cannot tell me that trade was perfect. We took one tick of heat, man, one tick. You know, I mean, and we had to take that one tick to get into the trade. So we couldn't have executed it any more perfectly. And we took our time. We didn't get caught up in all the sideways action that was going on and all the noise, so to speak. We didn't get caught up in all that. And we waited for our trade. And we were still done by, well, I mean, what time did we get in that trade? About 10:30, 10:15, 10:20, somewhere around there. I'm not sure. But the point is,
Eastern time.
I mean, the point is, we took our trade and made our points, and we were done pretty quick in the morning. You know, and you can do that. Anybody can do that. You just have to be patient and wait for that. You guys agree to that?
Completely
Definitely agree. So here, this current, sorry to interrupt, this current candle.
Yeah. Is this a good trade here?
I'm
actually
not
got
going to take it.
I canceled my trade. I just didn't like the quick volume moving quick, but
Yeah.
apparently it looks like it is.
But that's okay. But it's not a good trade for me. Okay, it might be a
Okay,
good
good.
trade. It might. I didn't take the trade because that was a
I did
massive
not.
candle coming in here. Yeah, we're going to get great rejection, which shows and proves that our demand zone was strong right here, for at least for time being, right? At least we have that confirmation that, hey, for the temporary bounce, we were in the right area. But for this kind of the way this price action's played out, I probably think it might just blow through this zone, and if it does, that's okay. Don't bother me either way. But again, it might just be perfectly respect the bottom of the zone and take off and go long, and that's great. But it wasn't our ideal situation. I had to guess too much on this, because of that candle and that price action. This goes back to price action is so important. Learning the story here and what it's trying to tell you, and with that kind of a big rejection wick and a big body to the downside, and volume spiking to the downside, that just tells me, okay, we can get run over real quick here, especially with the 1 point stop that we trade, and we're very successful 1 point stops. So we don't want to enter a trade just because we have a zone already sitting there. So we got to be wise to that, okay? And we got to make sure.
So in this,
go ahead.
sorry, in this case, like I said, I literally removed my trade. I had a trade ready at 28, 87.5.
Right.
I saw the volume go up. I saw that long stretch. I didn't like it. I removed it. And literally, in 2 seconds, right before it would have picked me up, I would have. Now, I don't care what it did afterwards. I'm just glad it did respect the zone. But I think I maybe would have got a point because it took one tick of heat and then it flashed up, but then it went down.
Right.
And I would have actually been out. So I could have, if I didn't get the point then, I would have lost. Let's see, it would have gone to, what if I lost? No, I would have got the point. But like you said, that easily could have gone just right through the zone. We're not looking for just any trade. We're looking for the perfect trade. And if it's not comfortable, if the price action doesn't line up, volume it doubled from the last candle. Again, that told me get out, wait for a more comfortable trade.
Yeah,
Exactly. This is one of those frustrating moments for me because that's where the patience comes into play. Like we didn't take the trade because our methodology didn't line up. However, if we would have traded on the 87.5, we technically could have made 2 trades right there and gotten 2 points. It respected it twice without busting it.
Yeah,
So-
you're right. You're exactly right. It can be a little bit of frustration going on right here on our part because we've already predetermined this was the best zone, and we said why it's a good zone for us to take our trade, especially with just getting 1 point. We could have gotten it a few times here, and we see that. So after the fact, it's frustrating. But at the same time, we didn't know this was going to happen, right?
Exactly.
And that's
It's a
the
lot
kicker.
more- Yeah, and it's a lot more frustrating to lose one than it is to watch it not make you one.
Absolutely, because here's the kicker. Had you got into this trade on this candle that we were looking at getting right at 87.50, which would have been the right entry that we had already chosen, but had you gotten in and that candle went ahead and blew through us and took you out, you'd kick yourself and say, why did I do that? I knew better to do that because that
I'll
candle,
trade.
that price action tells us not to get in right there. So you would have kicked yourself saying that. But now it's easy and more fun to say, well, I could have taken that trade there, but I don't have to. I didn't lose $50, right, on one contract.
Exactly.
So you got to be looking at that and be positive and say that's good job, well done. You didn't. That's part of being a great trader and a professional trader is being willing not to trade when things don't line up and it's not a high probability trade. That's part of being a successful trader. There's times like this right here where it can kind of be frustrating because we could have already made 3 or 4 points, to be quite honest, right here. But yeah, that's okay, man. We made 6 points yesterday, right?
Exactly.
So look at that. Make sure we understand that. We made 6 points yesterday. No reason to give them back right here just because we want to trade. And we don't want our ego get into the way and say, I'm going to take this trade because I said this is the right area, even though some of our checklist is not kind of being checked off here with the price action. So we can't just let our ego say we're going to make this trade right here because I want to make the trade.
Exactly.
And that's the kicker. So I appreciate you guys have done a good job. You were patient there. And we're talking through that, and that's what's great about hopefully on this channel that guys can learn the method, to talk through the method, and ask questions. And if you say, well, hey, your method said take a trade there, why didn't you take it? Well, we can talk to you and tell you why we didn't trade it. Or if we just flat out missed it, then that's okay too. If everything lines up and we just, for whatever reason, wasn't paying attention, or we're focused on something else and we missed the trade, that's okay. We can be called out on that. I have no problem with that. I've got doing this for 20 years, and I'm wrong every day, right, on something. So, and that's okay, man. That's part of growing. As a trader, you're always going to learn as a trader, man. You got to always be open to learning. And like I said, one thing about having you guys on this channel, y'all a little bit more fresh meat, so to speak, than I am, So you guys are going to have some different perspectives, that I might quite honestly forgot about, and not that that's I think that's a great thing as the way I can say it. I think a lot of people that are either new to trading are going to take y'all's perspective a little bit, and you're going to relate to them a little bit more than somebody that's been trading for 20 years like myself, So I think it's exciting that you guys want to be on here, and we're kind of doing this together, and we can kind of talk through this stuff for everybody. So
we could make a zone at 6 or 7:55 Eastern.
7:55. Let's take a look here. 7:55. Yep, potentially. I mean, it's not a.
It's not a strong zone,
Yeah, it's
but
not a
we're
strong-
seeing some slowdown,
Yeah.
and it's that also lays right on some strong support.
Absolutely. Resistance at this point. Yeah, that was.
Is it support or resistance? Support.
Yeah,
coming down
yeah,
to
yeah, absolutely. It's support. Yeah, it was resistance, and now it's become support. So you have that, and that's referring to all this area over here.
And I'm sorry, what were you guys? What zone were we talking about?
Mitchell asked about the 755 zone, which is the next one you see, the next support area that you see. We do have
It's just
qualifications for
750.
that.
Yeah, 755.
Yeah, we have qualifications for that because of all the support and resistance in that area. Plus, but from a supply standpoint, it's not my best looking confirmed supply zone. I think that's more all about support and resistance right there versus supply and demand. So from a demand zone, it's really not there, I should say. Not supply, but from a demand zone, I'm not 100% confident in it. But from the support and resistance area, this is a very strong area. Obviously, we're seeing that because price doesn't seem to be able to get through that to the downside. It's kind of jumping off of there.
And when you trade support and resistance, do you trade beneath the support, above the resistance, or do you trade right at it? If we were to look about trading in that area, I know we trade off supply and demand, but support and resistance does offer a few trades as well.
Oh, absolutely. And I think what you're going to find is supply and demand, support and resistance go hand in hand. The difference between supply and demand and support and resistance, supply and demand gives you a zone out of that support and resistance to trade off of. So
Exactly.
Anywhere you're going to have support and resistance, you're going to have a supply or demand zone somewhere in that area, and it just has to, and that's what I trade out of, and our method trades out of, not just strictly support and resistance, but we have to look at those zones around support and resistance and pick out the supply and demand areas from those support and resistances. So that's kind of how we trade out of that. So I don't trade just based off of support and resistance, but we look for the zones out of, beside those. That answer your question?
Yes, it did. Perfect.
All right, good. yeah, so do you, you guys are fresh meat, man. That's right. You guys are fresh market meat, buddy. So, yeah,
I'm a long time veteran trading.
But you guys have done well, very, very, very well in the time that you've been trading, and that's the reason you guys are on here, to give your perspective. But I also think it's great because you're going to offer different perspectives, you know. But you guys wouldn't be here if you didn't, if I didn't think you should be here, because you've done the method extremely well, and you've proven that in your accounts. You've made hundreds of % returns based on just off of this method. And that tells me over a lot of trades, you know, and it's not over 20 or 150 trades. I mean, it's over a lot of trades. So when you're able to do that time and time again, the luck goes out the window. Okay, so skill has to come in, and that's kind of what you guys have proven. That's why you're here on the channel.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, so Paul's saying my screen looks a little blurry. Okay, so I appreciate that, Paul. I'll see what I can do to try to.
How does yours look? Mitchell, does yours look okay?
Mine does look fine as far as the clarity.
It may be because mine goes in and out, so it may not be you, BK. It may be just unfortunately the connection.
Paul's saying kind of the same thing that you are, or that you had said. So there might be some latency issue that I need to probably drop this thing down to low latency so I can not be as blurry, maybe. But I'll try that in the settings here in a few minutes.
So while you're doing the settings, all right. So we have our 820 zone. It's been triggered. What I do is when I create a zone, naturally it just becomes. I don't do the fancy stuff you do, which is great. The green for long and red for short. Supply and demand. I just create a zone and it's naturally yellow. And then I know if the price is below it, I know it's going to be my supply zone. But once I see this trigger, I change it to a different color. I don't delete it right away, because I may use it as a supply zone. In this case, the 820 is my demand zone. It's been triggered. If it breaks through it and they come back, is it still good to use as a potential supply zone? Or is it the same rule applies? It's already been triggered as a demand zone, so therefore it's already been triggered as a supply zone?
No. That only goes in one direction. The way my experience is, and the way the method works. So let's take your example here. This 820 zone that we've drawn for demand actually shows a lot of respect now, right? Out of those three candles, you're showing respect for this area as a demand. Well, if price decides to just blow through it, and I'm talking about blowing through it, meaning a couple long candles out of it, closing, then it could be. You'll see me reverse it into a supply zone, okay? Because what that means right there. Let's take it from a basic standpoint, from a buy and sell standpoint. Okay, what's that mean when it comes into demand right there, and it decides to battle there? Then it decides to blow short for some long candles. What does that tell you? What should that tell you? That should tell you that sellers took control of that zone and pushed it short. So now that zone is controlled by sellers. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it into a sell zone, and now it becomes just like a potential supply zone that we look for first touches back into that now for a trade short. Okay, so but I have to have good conviction when I blow through a zone. I have to have good conviction in the opposite direction that sellers were there and they took control. They pushed it lower. Okay. So
If it does push through there, we'll watch it. Well, I just can't have a wick through that and it back up, right? I got to have bodies that close there. I have to have closes below that zone, and I'd like to see good follow through out of that zone because technically, we go back to the rules of supply and demand. When I'm in that zone, what creates a good supply zone? What confirms a good demand zone, right? So I have to kind of go back to those rules, and just because one was previously a demand and it blows through and it can become supply for sure.
Right. Thank you. Yeah. That's exactly what I would have said too. Just like,
I know you would have said it a lot more elegantly than I do, and I get that. That's okay.
yes.
So I look forward to you guys being willing to chime in here a little bit more and talk.
Yeah, for sure. So right now, nothing going on. It's bouncing between two zones. So going back to what you've already said, I want to be sure people understand. We're in a sideways market. We're not going to trade between those two zones as of right now. That's been already triggered unless once we get a strong push off out of this area. We can have a potential candle new zone at 1030. A little wider. If it was to go up or go long or short here. Actually rather long. But right now we're not going to do anything. We're not going to reuse the zones as of right now. We're not. We're just waiting for them to take off, take control, or we'll be done for the day with no trades. Correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So as you can see, I just drew a little order flow profile here, kind of watch, and you can kind of see through this sideways action, we might end up seeing some stuff happen here, but right now it's just you can see a lot of the volumes just kind of right there in the middle, going sideways, and so we just got to be patient, man. It's just about being patient, and like you said, we might not trade today, but that's all right, man. That's part of learning to trade is sit on your hands.
Very sideways today.
Yeah, sure is. That's all right. You're gonna have days like that, Mama said.
I tell you, July was like that almost every day. It was painful.
Yeah, it's kind of tough.
I usually take July's off myself. That's my time to go on vacation.
Well, that's good. That's when big boys. You're a big boy like so, you can do whatever you want.
That's right. We're limited, but yeah. Let's see here. All right, so I know you created a new. I haven't watched it yet, but the new one about support and resistance.
Yeah.
For people asking, okay, great, thanks for showing us support and resistance. When are you going to show us about supply and demand?
Yeah. Is that what they're saying, Soto?
That's I haven't told you guys, I have a little podcast on my own. I'm kind of breaking away from the group, and just so many people out there saying, hey, when is this happening? What's going on?
Well, that's funny you said that. I'm going to break you in right here because I've got a podcast I'm setting up that we're going to start doing. So that's good.
That's good.
I've already got it set up.
You got it set?
All right, so go ahead.
So yeah, I got hundreds of people coming up to me saying, hey, what's going on here? Why we're not learning supply and demand? And I tell them, Tom will come and show us. BK will show us in time.
Yeah, it's going to be a short amount of time. I mean, I'm going to put that video up today, as a matter of fact. So you'll be able to learn. You'll be able to see how we use supply and demand tonight sometime on the channel. I'll have the video up. So, perfect. And then in the next couple of days, I'll have the last piece of the puzzle up. So we'll kind of have all 5 pieces of the puzzle, kind of in as far as the methodology goes, and then I'll have a video put them all together with examples, seeing how they all work together. So we'll kind of put that up here pretty soon. But yeah, we're going to take a little bit at a time, man. Let people learn at their own pace and realize the market will be there tomorrow as well. So it's not a have to do it right now. You know, you're gonna learn it all at the right time.
That's great. Well, thank you for answering the question, viewers.
You're welcome.
How many viewers do you have on that podcast, Soto?
Yeah, you can check me out at Chris is King Trading on your local your local podcast.
What is that again? Say it again.
I'm kidding.
King Trading.
I like it.
At Soto King Trader.
King Trader Soto. I like it.
Soto, yeah. Oh man, please bring this here.
What was that?
Sorry, I'm looking up
Begging,
price.
man?
I know, like, wait. Well,
Down, man.
you know, just for the check of the channel, I'm hoping to show you guys a little something here.
He's gonna have to tape his finger back so he doesn't keep clicking.
Yep. Yep. So we're seeing some really good respect right here, aren't we? For some demand. They're still pushing back. They're still pushing back a little bit. You know, it's because the market's an auction. You know, and I'll make a video about that really in depth. But the market's just a big auction. You know, and we got to learn how to read the auction, listen to the auction. And right now, there's a lot of buyers at this price right here, and we have to recognize that.
Yeah, that's a heck of a zone. That 820, it's very
good zone, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm sure we can go back on the video and see who called it. I think it was actually me.
Yeah.
That's good.
You want me to just announce to everyone that you called it out, Soto?
Well, not that you
That's
say
what he's
that.
looking for.
I'll pat you on the back, brother. You did it. I mean, I had it, but you, as soon as we signed on, you're like 820 zone.
Good job. Good job, guys. I'm proud of you, Soto. Good boy.
So when it's like this, Brian, what technically is going on? It's just indecision. We're just bouncing back and forth. Can we kind of talk to the viewers what actually is going on in the market that makes it show up like this on our chart?
Yeah, anytime you have sideways action, it's just basically accumulation. What's called accumulation and distribution. But from this standpoint, it's mainly accumulating. You know, institutions picking up orders here and there, retail traders going in with little trades here and there, but it really comes down to institutional picking up positions, you know, picking up money and moving it. You know, one way I kind of taught Soto this, I don't think I've ever told you this statement, he might have told you, but the market's just, if you look at this market and you just look at pockets of money everywhere, okay, that's the best way to look at it. There's pockets of money everywhere in this market. So big boys move in pockets of money, okay, and they need your money to fuel their movement, you know, and so what you see right here in accumulation, that's all they're doing. They're just bouncing back and forth, picking up orders, taking stops, and because that really does happen, whether people believe it or not. You know, that's how the market moves. So they're in there just picking up orders to get fuel. They're not doing much right now. It's just a lot of sideways retail stuff going on, but that's really what happens on the sideways market, though, is accumulation. So that's what we're seeing. Because if you look. One thing to go back and look at, pull up a chart, and before any big move in one direction, okay, and I'm not talking like 2 candle moves, I'm talking about 4, 5, 6 strong candle trend moves. Anytime that happens, it comes out of a sideways market from somewhere, okay? They just don't start and stop. They stop at a sideways market somewhere, and they start at a sideways market somewhere. So That's kind of their grounding areas, if you can say that. That's where they pick up their fuel to take off. So that's kind of how to look at that on the macro. You can kind of see that. You see it on this chart. I mean, if you look to the left where I still have that circle, I'll kind of move it down even a little bit more at this point. But all this right here, I mean, that's all it is, right? I mean, it's just a sideways market, and they're just sitting right in that area, picking up orders. There's a lot of buys and sells going on, and that's the reason you see the movement. Nothing's really taken off yet. So I don't have institutions ready to leave this area at this point in time. So, but when you see it, you'll see the big move. That's the institutional moves. That's not retail traders making big moves and big candles. Okay, that's institution moves. That's computers. That's algorithms. That's designed for that. That's what they're doing. So that's kind of what like I said, that's kind of what you're seeing happen right here. It's just a bunch of accumulation.
And that's why we don't trade necessarily in a sideways market or create a lot of zones in a sideways market, is just due to the unpredictability of it.
Correct, 100% correct, yeah. It can eat you up all day. I mean, you can sit here and say, I could have taken that, I could have taken that, I could have taken that. Well, you can see that after the fact, right? We can't do it right in the middle of the trade. You're going to get eaten alive. So we need this thing to push out of this thing pretty hard, because this is kind of what happened yesterday, right? It wasn't this late in the day, but this is exactly what happened yesterday. If you go back to watch yesterday's video, we did the same thing. We went sideways for a while, and then we finally busted out of that sideways market, like we're starting to possibly do right here. But we're breaking out of that sideways market, and then from yesterday, we came back into that congestion area and got into our trade, and then shot hard south, right? So that's potentially what could happen today, one way or the other. But we're still in the sideways market, so we're not in a hurry to jump in to lose. I'm just not that. You just don't become successful doing that. So you just have to kind of wait and be patient in these sideways markets, because whether you know this or not, but the markets tend to go sideways more than they trend. Okay. The saying's that 80% of the time the markets are sideways, 20% of the time they're trending. That's kind of an old saying, but if you look back to it, I don't know if the actual number percentages are correct, but it is a fact that the markets go sideways more than they trend. So, and there's a reason behind that. It's not just that's just something it does. There's a reason behind that. Okay, so the only way the market can go up is there has to be sellers and buyers making a transaction, right? One way or the other. That's the only way it can go up and down. So the market has to go sideways to get those orders built up, to get that money into that position, to get the sellers and the buyers coming together. Then one side of them is going to take control, and that's when you see the big moves and the big trends is out of those areas when that happens. So that's kind of why you'll see the market will sideways more than not.
Right there on our 655 zone.
Yeah.
Point was made.
655.
Or excuse me, 755. I'm central. I'll switch it.
Yeah, 755. Yeah.
The one we were talking about that laid right there with some support.
Yeah. Did you take it?
I did not take it. I had one in and removed it on that last candle.
Yeah. That's
that
wise.
Big bear.
Yep.
Just scared me. Price action was just not what I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
As well as volume looks like it's flat, but I mean it did slightly increase.
Absolutely.
So I left it alone. However, like we had previously, same scenario, whereas it was wise to leave it alone, and you can't get frustrated by it because you could have easily lost. However, in this case, it is respecting that zone we called out earlier.
Yeah. It's a good observation, but yeah, you're exactly right. I think you made the right decision for the long term. Right here, you might say, well, crap, I missed a point. But in the long term, and that's what this game is, it's not a short-term game. This is your long term. Okay, this is something you want to do for the rest of your life. So you have to follow the rules, and you have to say, yeah. I mean, you can't just sit there and say, I could have made that point. And the more you do that, you're eventually going to talk yourself into making higher risk trades.
Exactly.
And that's going to come back to get you. It might work for you temporarily, but in the long run, it will come back to get you, and you will lose. So it's good to point out that that we called that area again, and but again, volume didn't line up properly for us to take that trade. So
And it's not really wise to take trades on a if the previous candle is the body is so large, like the body was increasing, and I typically like to do it when the body is decreasing, and I don't
absolutely.
think that's correct or
That's
incorrect.
100% correct.
My observation.
No, that's 100% correct. Yeah, that's how we should take trades. You know, unless we're taking like a lightning bolt pattern trade, which I haven't really taught yet. So, but that still doesn't line up for that. So, but no, you're exactly right. We want bodies to start slowing down into our supply or demand zones. We want that to kind of start slowing and the bodies to get smaller and smaller. That just shows indecision. That just shows price slowing down. And that just shows opportunity for us to possibly take a trade. So let me ask you about this, guys. What do y'all think about 705 area? Is that a zone? Is that a hidden zone? Soto, I know you've got experience with this. Is this a hidden zone to the demand zone?
Seven. I'm sorry. I'm trying to pull it up. 1 second here.
For me, I personally would not make it a hidden zone, and it very well may be. I may need to clear up on what constitutes a hidden zone. But the hidden zones that I make, I like them to still have the wick and body be about the same as each other, or more wick than body.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well. I would agree, except for the candle itself. My understanding is the body needs to be 50% or less of the candle. Now, unless you have something else to teach me, but that's last time. My understanding from what you taught me was candle needs to follow the rules. We did have so I agree with what Mitchell saying. The body.
However, if you look at it from a order standpoint or order flow, there is a large pocket of orders right there.
I don't have access to that. Must be nice.
One day, brother.
Why don't you have access to that? Oh, I'm sorry. No, I realize. My bad. You're in a different little setup right now because of temporary, but that's just temporary.
Yeah.
But you're just in a little different setup. But yeah, I mean, you can make your decision based on a couple things here. With a lot of support and resistance right there. Like from an order flow standpoint, a lot of orders right there, right? A lot of candles beside each other with multiple orders being done there. I would say it's still probably a pretty good zone, even though the candle itself is more than 50% because of all the other candles to the left of that. But that's getting a little more complex for some stuff. But it's still an opportunity. It still can be. You draw a little order flow just in that area. Let me just get rid of this real quick here.
Where you have to go? Will you go at the top of that zone?
No, I wouldn't personally go to the top of the zone. So I would go kind of right into this area of 8350 if I was going to do something. And
I made a blue line at 8325.
Yeah, that's okay. That's actually the bottom of a value area of that zone. From an order flow, you're about to see that. I'm about to pull that up for you. You'll see the order flow in that zone right there. All that sideways action, you'll see that the value area low is at 8325, where you just talked about. So I'd be kind of right in the middle of that. From the VPOC to the value area low right there is a point. I would kind of go right in the middle of that at 83.75 if price were to work itself out, So we'll kind of watch that. I'll put a line just for the fact that I'm watching, just to tell myself I'm watching this area here, and I'm going to keep an idea of what's going on. And let me do it a different way here. Horizontal line. A lot of this I'm just talking in my head, guys, kind of trying to talk out loud so you kind of hear my thoughts, and why I'm doing something.
Yeah, that's great. And if you notice, while you're doing that, so far, I know we haven't had a strong push out of it, but our last 820 zone now is being used as a supply zone. It's been triggered there once or twice to go short.
Yeah, but I wouldn't really consider this triggered yet because we don't have a pivot candle out of it, meaning I don't have a good support through this movement down yet, and then the rejection back into that supply at that point. That would be considered my first touch into that supply area. Does that make sense what I'm saying there?
It does.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So
Are you-
I would still consider this. I want to wait for this candle to close a couple more minutes. And if it closed down, okay, then at that point I would turn this old demand zone into a supply zone. Okay, but not yet. But I'm gonna wait for that.
Are you gonna this new zone, the hidden zone?
Mhm. What about it?
Will you consider a trade there?
I will, absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to consider a trade if volume keeps decreasing and the price keeps going lower a little bit at a time. I will look for a trade around the 75 area. So I will absolutely do that. Around 83.75, I'll kind of watch it. Just because I know there's going to be some there should be anyway, if volume's just decreasing and the price is not moving fast into that, there should be a little bit of a bounce out of that because of all the support and resistance, and there's a multiple supply and demand there going on right in there. You know, so that would be my choice of trade at that spot. You know, whether I get it or not, we'll wait to see. But yeah, that's kind of what I'd be looking for. So we're kind of just now getting into that. Let me go ahead and put my trade in here. Oh, I just missed it, didn't I? I missed it. I wasn't paying attention. I'm going to go ahead and put it in here still. So we'll see if I can get.
Hutch, are you trading?
Well, it looks like it pushed through there.
No, I did not trade there.
That's good. That's good. And volume
I didn't
increasing.
like how it jumped down there so quickly.
Yeah, volume increased pretty strong through there. So let's see.
However, if we would have been at the bottom of that zone, I think we definitely had a zone. It was a good zone. We just picked the wrong spot in the zone,
Yeah.
which is tough right there. But it definitely did respect that zone. It just respected it maybe 3 ticks lower than we went.
Yeah. And it's a good deal that I didn't get to trade in time because I was taking a loss there. So that's a good thing. But yeah, we just might have been a little premature into that. The candle's long, volume's increasing, so it was the right decision. Or we kind of got lucky. At least I kind of got lucky that it didn't pick me up, which was good. So keep on watching.
And does 1055 now become a hidden zone as well? As a demand zone?
Supply?
10:55. Yeah, it will become a demand zone after that close right there of this 11 o'clock candle. That's very strong, right? To the downside, we had a good pop out of that. So what I will do is reverse this. Now this is going to become supply for me. So we'll kind of watch that. And is that what you're referring to?
I believe so. Yeah, supply. It's going to go up to it. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I struggle with my right and left and everything, so y'all have to bear with me.
Yeah, no worries. I still.
You should see me trying to navigate with the GPS system. It says go right, I go left. Every time. They say that's high level brain activity.
That's probably what that is, Oscar. You keep talking to yourself. That's good. We got to have good affirmations to ourselves. That's exactly right. You just. Oh, that's it. All right.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Is that it?
Yeah.
All right. So it's 11 o'clock at Eastern time. So. We'll just kind of watch this for a few more minutes since I was kind of late to the party today. I might watch to see if we want to react out of this zone. So I might hang out for another 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. We'll just kind of see if we can get something happening in the next 4 or 5 candles here. And if we can get us a trade, then that's great. If we can't, then I'll go ahead and call it a day. And
and we'll fight to live for tomorrow, right? Live to
Yeah.
fight another day, as they say. So
Sure. Yeah, I'm with you here.
I hope everybody can hear all of us. That's,
Yeah. I think I've kind of got a line in. I'm not looking at taking the trade, but 28.85.50.
85.50.
Yeah, 28.85.50.
The 855 candle.
On the 1055 candle as the zone and triggering now.
So 85.50.
Like I said, I'm one tick conservative, so I do feel like if it pops up there on this candle here, it'll be a good trade. If this candle closes, I may pull it out.
Okay. And you're going off of that trade because why again?
Well, because on the 1055 candle, we had a very strong push out of that zone. We've got looking at order flow. There is unfilled orders laying right there, as well as that's where most of the bodies of the candles kind of lie.
Okay.
Did you just get picked up?
I did.
Are you in the trade and you just got your point?
Yep.
What you got in at 75?
I got in at 50.
50. Okay. Did you
I
get
was
a
like-
point out of it?
Not yet. It went to 1, but then it hesitated. It didn't go past 1.
Okay.
So I did not get the trade yet. So I am still in it.
Okay. I'll watch trade here in this area. I've got one at 87. I might could even go higher to 87.50. But I'm going to kind of watch price action into this area. I've got it there, but I'm ready to remove it quickly. So you're in at 50. So you're bouncing around a little bit.
I'm on. I got a trade, but I'm not in yet. It hasn't picked me up. I'm at 2887.00, so flat 2887.
That's where I'm at 87 even. So Mitch is good. He got 3 ticks into his. It's his
You got
playing
your-
with
yeah.
you. That
It's
got
flirting with me, boys.
Yeah, it's flirting. Come on down a little bit more for you. It'd be nice.
It's coming down. I can tell. It's already happening. There it is. You're in. You're about to get it.
But,
I
are
need
you
your
psyched?
chart, man. I need your data feed.
He's over there reading palms.
Looking into a big old crystal ball, trying to figure
He's
it out.
got, yeah, he's got a
little
big
eight
stack.
ball.
He's got a big stack of tarot cards. He's just flipping them over.
I'm on the
Very good.
phone. You just got it, buddy. You're,
No, not yet, man. Calm down.
But hey, I like it. Be positive, man. Tell it what it's going to do. Tell it what
Yeah,
it's going to
buddy.
do.
look at the rejection. It's going to come down, create a rejection hook at the bottom, which is going to take you out. Okay, it's not happening. Never mind.
Well, it might.
There it
We're 3 ticks in right here. Come on,
Here it
man.
is, buddy. Come on. Be prepared. Be prepared.
Oh, it's playing with you, isn't it?
It is.
Oh yeah, this is my life in trading right here.
Oh,
Just
well, there you
constant.
Come on, point. Come on.
It,
one more
I
tick.
know, man. It has hit 1.003 times. I just need it to give. Oh, there we go. I
There
got
you
it.
go. Good job.
Here it is. Man. Congrats.
Good
And
job.
that's why we do this right there.
That's why
This
you
is why-
wait. Right, wait for the right trade. Good job.
So, am I one up on the gunslinger today?
You're one up on the gunslinger, Soto. He's got you, Soto. You're gonna have to.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I am proud of Metro and everything he's done to this point. So I win for him. It's a win for me.
There you go. That's right. It's a win for the whole channel. Good job.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say the whole channel. I just said for me. But yeah, the whole channel.
Well, I'm saying the whole channel, man.
I'm kidding.
So it never made it to you guys?
I did
No,
not.
I'm up at 87. I'm waiting for it to get into this supply zone. That's really good. There are the previous area. I'm waiting for it to get up there. So you took a good trade based off of zone at what was it? 755? Is that what it was?
1055.
1055. Oh, okay, 1055. So you took a trade off of that zone. I got you. Okay.
What did how many ticks of heat did he take?
So 2, I think.
Awesome. And it looks like Paul here wrote point made at 2885.5. So I think he went.
Exactly where I did.
Yeah, he went. Good job, Paul. Nice. He went
Yeah.
in the same place. Good job. As long as you go in there for the right reasons, that's what matters. If you make your point for the right reasons, and as long as it wasn't lucky, we made our point for it's a good decision because it met our rules and we had good justification going into it. Then that's the name of the game here. You know, we might not all take the same trades at the same spot, but as long as we're in the same area and we can see why the point's being taken, and that's good. That's one thing I want, which is good about for all three of us here. And the chat is, you know, some accountability, making sure we're all, why did you take that trade, and whether it worked out or it didn't, what was the purposes and the thought processes for taking the trade. You know, as long as we continue to do that, then I think everybody will learn and do well. So,
What about the previous zone, which was 6 o'clock Eastern? Looks like we're coming into that potentially right now.
say that again. I'm sorry.
So there was a zone that we made earlier at 6 o'clock,
Yeah.
and looks like we're easing into that area right now.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a good zone. I mean, it's we got one. It depends on where you mark your zone, but if you mark it at the top here at 8150, it hasn't been triggered yet. So let me draw that on the chart so we can see that. So if you draw right at this area here, we haven't had triggered yet, but we're at the top of it right now. That's what you're referring to right there, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, that'd be a good zone right now because we technically hadn't triggered based on this candle. So we'll kind of watch it and see. Maybe. Just kind of in the middle at the moment.
Where were you going that 6 o'clock candle, 6 o'clock Eastern, correct?
Correct.
Where were you going that?
Well, I've got a blue line, one tick north of the zone, just at 2881.75.
Okay.
And I also have one at 2880.50. And I'm really just watching price action, seeing what volume does to see at which spot I want to go. Right now it's 50-50 with me, whether I'm even going to enter it or not. Kind of just waiting on to see what the next candle does, how quickly it shoots off, and where this one ends at.
Awesome.
I'd like a little short fat bar right here, and then with volume decreasing, and then I would look to get into this trade somewhere around 80.75. If I can get a short little bar with some volume decrease. That's probably a good trade right there, to be honest with you. But
I'm at 50, not 75,
yeah,
just because I'm being extra cautious. But I do
Yeah.
think 75 is probably the best trade in that zone right now.
yeah, I agree with you. I didn't get in it, but I think it's a good trade. If somebody else got into it, I think it would be a good spot there. But well, let's watch it and see. Candles aren't slowing down, not getting rejection wicks yet, so not the right situation yet. Probably still wants to go a little lower, so we'll kind of watch it. I need to get a rejection wick out of this thing. I need for it to close when we still consider to take a trade, because I haven't taken the trade yet. So I want this, even though I might go and reject out of here, I want that candle to have a little bit of a close first with the rejection wick, and then I would consider getting in the trade if it triggers that area again. Right now, not yet. I think it's going to go a little bit lower. Anybody else in it?
Not yet.
Oh,
Soto? No?
no.
All right, good. What's it look like? It's called being patient, man. It's tough sometimes, but this is it.
Yeah, apparently I had it on mute, so I was talking the whole time.
You're awfully quiet. I'm not used to
I was gonna say I knew something was wrong.
that. Lost the connection.
I figured you had to go eat some breakfast.
I already ate breakfast. I already ate round 2 of breakfast.
Round two.
Well, a lot of people don't know, but
It's called brunch.
your brain needs a lot of energy for when you use it, and especially in the morning for need some carbohydrates. So I need to eat some good solid carbs there for energy convert.
Nice.
So it's just for survival. It's not nothing else. Just so I can trade well. Good. Nobody got picked up here.
I did, and I got the point. But we were talking about your eating habits, so
Oh,
I didn't call it out. But yeah, I got in at 28.80.50, and obviously out at 28.81.50.
Good job, man. That's great.
no,
Good
that's
job,
that's
Mitchell.
that's 2. BK, you jumped in.
No, I didn't get in. No.
It was not probably the most ideal, but it just with the way it was bouncing around, and it did create a pretty good rejection wick. And then I put my trade in, it came back down and grabbed it and went back up, so it was good.
Good. That's good intrabar candle trade.
Chance, he said.
All right. All right, gentlemen. Well, I'm going to have to hop off here. I got to run, but I have thoroughly enjoyed it this morning and look forward to it tomorrow.
Yeah, man. Nice job, Mitchell. And we'll see you. We'll see you tomorrow, bright and
Yep.
early. Good, nice job.
Sounds good. Y'all have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, buddy. BK, since the young buck is gone, let me tell you what I've done today. I got 7 points. I didn't want to mention. No, it's
Good
kidding.
job, man. You gotta take it easy on the guy.
I didn't want to hurt his ego. No, he did a great job. I'm very proud of
Yeah.
Metro. He's come a long way in a very short time. I think that speaks actually, if not equal to, but also to your method and your teachings. So again, thank you for that.
Yeah, well, no worries. Thank you. Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's what it can be. That's what can happen here. You know, you learn the method. Like I said, not too difficult, and control yourself, but enter the method based on rules, and you can be picked up very quickly. So that's good.
Yeah. Let me tell you why I didn't put a trade there. And again, this is me, and
Sure.
we had the long push, and we had. I really thought it was going to continue to push strong down to our other zone. So I would rather wait for them to break through, then use it as a supply instead of as a demand. And obviously, I was wrong. They showed some hesitation. They just broke through it just now, but they showed some hesitation. You would have got your point, obviously, like Mitchell did. But to me, the big candle, the 10 o'clock candle was too strong coming out of a zone. So I felt they could have easily just kept going, just like they are right now at 11:20.
Exactly right. Yeah. I didn't take the trade either. It was a good zone to take it. It was just a little bit higher risk trade. I mean, he did
Right.
well. He did great with it, and good job to him for doing that. It was just a little bit more high risk for my taste. But yes, my ultimate trade, actually, I was waiting for was to come back into this supply zone way back here. That's what I was waiting for. But still hadn't got it yet. But
But he took two good trades right there, or one good trade right there, so he's done very well today. But I'm with you. I just hadn't. It was just a little more high risk for me at this point, so just kind of waiting for price to kind of get back into a really untested area of demand, and that is our zone down here at the, as you pointed out earlier, at the 450 area. That's really our untested demand that should get some good resistance out of.
Right now, we're looking at a potential 450 here coming down there. See if it gets there. We got volume increasing.
Hey, so I'll be right back, okay?
Right. So if you're still watching, we're staying a little later today since we had a late start. I believe the team total is 2 points for the day. Mitchell had two very good trades here in just the last hour. So very proud of him. And so for the week, from yesterday and today, I think we have 8 points, if I'm not mistaken. We might have more, but I think as a team we have 8 points total. So, and our goal for the week is, trying to get about 3. So we're we're doing really good for the week. We got a strong push down. We might have a little hidden zone at the 10, 11.
I'm back.
Yeah, would you consider the 11:15
What's that?
potential trade? Yeah, will you consider the 11:15 candle a for supply?
Not that candle particularly, but I would use the I would go back into using the 6 o'clock candle for supply now.
Okay.
If I get a close from this candle to the below that very strong, if it gets me a big high wick back into that, then no, I wouldn't. But
Right.
if it closes down pretty quick here, if it closes in the next 20 seconds to the downside, then yeah, I would definitely consider that area now. Even with the 11:15, the wick part of that candle,
Uh-huh.
I would be able to tighten up a zone based on that and the 6 o'clock candle. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Does.
Yep, absolutely.
Nice. Okay. That's a good strong finish right there.
Yeah, that's a good finish right there. We'll bounce into this zone right here. We got a little bit of bounce right at the top here. You got a trade here anywhere?
I got a 28.72. Should I go higher?
No, it's up where you want to go, man. It's up to you. It's up to you, man.
That's what I got right there. 28.
70. All right, good. I like that. I like it 72 even there. I like that. So, kind of watch this here.
Yeah, I'm going to, let's see. It touched it and left.
Yeah.
Went right to the top of that.
Yeah, but touched 72, 75 and bounced out of it. So if I have an entry into this again, it will be kind of for sure at the 72 even area.
Okay.
If I have another entry, if I have an entry into this again, if it comes back.
Yeah.
And now, since I have a close, a really good strong close at the bottom, I'm going to change this around here. Make that a strong area of supply now. Have you seen my turn? You see have I made that supply yet on your chart?
Let's see. The
The old area
That's-
of the demand.
it's green.
Okay, well I'm changing it. I've changed it on my chart, so it's just a delay. It should be showing up on your chart now.
There it is. There you go. It's right now.
Okay. So now I consider that turned into a supply area
Good.
if we get back up into there.
looks like it's trying to get up there. That's the
Yeah.
wrong way.
It's trying. So now we just watch volume. Take a little breather here. Let it kind of go slowly into that zone. Let it kind of trickle into that zone a little bit. Limp into it, so to speak.
Yeah.
And if it starts to limp into that zone, then that would be a good strong trade to the downside, I think.
Okay.
Let's watch and see if it limps.
Yeah. What about our demand zone? Do you think still good? And will you go? I think you say you would go around the same where I was, 28,
Yeah.
72.
72 even. I'd consider that if volume slows down and I get another body, slow body coming into it. I would
Right.
still consider this area for sure. But let me pull up something. Yeah, we're getting late in the day here, so if something doesn't happen here pretty soon over the next couple candles, I'm probably gonna call it. So we'll just kind of
Yeah.
watch it.
I'm with you. Whatever you do.
All right.
Like I was mentioning earlier when you were taking a break here, we stayed a little later just because we got a little late start today. So,
Well, good. I mean, as a team, we got 2 points. That was good. Mitchell got 2, so that's still meeting the 1 point a day, which is what we're talking about between all of us.
yes,
So that's good.
very good.
That's one thing I'll do. Update the spreadsheet. Let me pull that up real quick.
Well, you got. Didn't you get 6 yesterday? Did Mitchell get any yesterday?
I think he did, but I didn't, for whatever reason, I didn't pull him into that, and I should have. But I can. How many did he get yesterday? Remember?
I don't remember. I guess I was asking.
That makes sense why you were asking, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it here.
This may be hard to believe, but it's for me. Everything kind of runs together after we get done, so I can't remember. 6, 10, 4, 3, 0.
Yeah. I can understand that for you, man. You're just so much further ahead of us. We can't keep up with you, man. So you're probably not the best one to follow. You can't keep up with you.
Can't keep up with me. No, I was just everything just kind of to me just runs together. I don't know why. I don't know. I just get so excited. I guess that.
Yeah. So Mitchell got 2 yesterday or 1?
Man,
I
honestly, I couldn't tell you.
think he got. I know he got at least 1. We'll just say 1. So I'll go ahead and update that. So that's that. Today is the 28, 27. And I'll show you here in a minute. 19. Contract traded 1. We'll say, as of this point, we'll say 2. Maybe it could increase some more here, but we'll just say 2 at this point.
I'm sending my message right now. It was very. I think today was our first day, all 3 of us together. Is that correct?
Yeah, today's the first day of all 3 of us together. Yeah, that was good.
I think well. I think it's gone really well. I think he brought a lot of great questions up.
Mhm.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was. It was great. Like you said, he brought a lot of good questions into the chat today, and that's kind of what I want. We all have a different look and thought, and I want that into the chat each day. It helped the chat. It helped the channel, and it'll
Yeah.
go quicker, which is great.
Okay, so I'm looking at your entries here. I'm looking at the Excel spreadsheet.
You are seeing that? Okay.
Yeah, I'm logging in myself though. Do you have it on the screen? I don't know.
I haven't put it on the screen. I'm gonna put it on right now, just because. I've got it on the screen right now, so
Okay.
you can see. It should come up here in just a second, hopefully. So people can actually see what the. We only got 3 days recorded. We didn't get the first day of 6 points. Kind of reset. Had you guys reset your accounts back down to 1,000 from your live accounts, so kind of reset those for this purpose of this channel and this to show that it can be done with 1,000, and that was the purpose of resetting your account to that from a live standpoint, and kind of letting it be shown. So you'll see here on the chart on the screen right now. You should be able to see that, Soto.
I do. Yes. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah, so you can see 822 was the first day in. Did very well. We always share one contract right now, and we'll show you when we decide to increase those as far as the method goes. But we got one contract. Made 2 points. So you net it out after commissions of 92.72. Okay, for 1,092.72. That's the balance there after day one. All right. Second day of trading on the 26th. For some different reasons that we had to skip a few days, but the days we traded, we got one contract still. We made 7 points. That was yesterday. Okay, we made 7 points between all of it. So it was a good day. After commissions and all that, it's got to be fixed a little bit, but there's commissions there. So we're up to $1,417 in the account. So just look at it. Just look at it right there. Just look at it right there. Okay. You started at 1,000 last week in your live account. A live feed count. All right. So we're at 1,000. You have $400. Tell me what percentage that is, Soto.
Yeah. That's hey, what is that stuff? 40%?
Yeah.
41.7%.
That's right. 41.7%. I
Net.
mean, really?
Net.
That's
Yeah.
net. Yeah, that's net. That's after
Net.
commissions. That's net. And this is 1 point, man. We're going for 1 point targets, right? And then
Yes.
occasionally, yesterday we got a runner, on one of my charts, we got a runner, so that's
Yep.
one reason those points went up so fast, but it doesn't matter. We still are doing it with a 1 point stop is the other piece to look at.
Right.
So it's all about entries, right? It's all about entries. So today, we did it again. Mitchell was the star today at one contract, right? 2 points, net $92, $1,509.96. So now we're at 50% with 1 point targets. This is what people got to understand. 1 point compoundable will make money, right? And we're not even compounding at this point because the contracts are still at 1, but we're not taking money out. But we're at 50% in the account already.
Yep.
So we're not. This is 3 days in. Waiting for the right positions, waiting for the right trades, being patient, and being willing to enter the trades when our method says enter the trade. So I think that's a good thing to show. We'll keep this going. As you can see, we'll continue to build. We'll put our losers in here as well. We're not going to just show winners. That's not what we do here. If we lose, we put it in there.
Yep, and that's why we have a place for
Right
points
here.
lost.
Yeah.
And whether we have a net positive or we end up with a net negative, that's okay. We will lose. Everybody does. We just happen to win more than we lose. So,
That's
and
awesome.
so we will definitely keep that updated there. And like I said, this is to help you guys, to show you that it's real. This is a free channel. Like BK has mentioned, he's taking time from his schedule and all the stuff that he could be doing. But this is something that he believes, and we also obviously believe with him, a great resource to help others to be able to, do this for a living. And I think he has a good heart, and we appreciate BK doing what he does.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that, but yeah, it's. I want everybody to be able to do this. This is a skill that can change your life, and I want to be the one. I want to be able to teach you to do that. So,
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I can. I have a friend. I'm not gonna say his name, but I have a friend who's a doctor, and he works 17-hour days to do to get a little bit of good money. But
Yeah.
something that I showed him one day what we could do, just in one day with his, the right number of contracts in the money account, and, in less than 2 hours, and really in less than just a few seconds, you're
Right.
actually in trade. And he looked at me and said, only he said only you can find something like this, and that's not true. Apparently, you can too. So if you're watching. If you're watching, you have also been have the opportunity to be blessed and learn something that not too many people know. So
That's right. That's exactly right. There's a time, there's a point in time where everybody trades time for money, so it's time to kind of flip that upside down, right? And
Right.
let's start, make your money in a short amount of time and get out of there, and eventually start getting multiple income streams coming in to where money starts working for you, all the time. Instead of you working all the time for money, that's the kind of the plan here, and this is one of the ways to help you do that actually, because you can, once you kind of get really good at this, take the time to do this, you can really learn to generate over time. Now, it's not a get rich tomorrow type of thing, but over time, you get some patience, get really good at this, you can grow a lot of money that you can turn into passive income with other things, and that's kind of one of the beautiful things about that is to learn to generate money and invest it wisely in other things. And this is just one of the fastest ways I know that's legal to earn a great living and be able to help others and do things with that. So
absolutely. Well, I don't. We might be coming to our trade. Are you looking?
yeah, I'll probably go into this trade if it gets up to us at 80.25 is where I'll put an order in. Into that area right there, but we kind of need to give me a little bit different of a candle right here. Price volume needs to not be increasing so much. We could actually kind of set up for a lightning bolt if we keep going in the way it's going, and it'd be a little bit higher risk trade. But I think we're going to get definitely a good area right there. So I'm feeling pretty good about the trade if I were to put it in at 8.25. Even with a little bit of higher entry. So I'm going to go ahead and put an order in there at 80.25, knowing that I might actually get a lightning bolt out of this deal here. And so I'm looking for this thing to kind of make a trade, and if it comes past and get me, then that's okay too. But I just kind of like the trade, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna draw a line what I'm looking at, so everybody can kind of see my thoughts when I see this here. Now, this is what I'm wanting to happen. Whether it happens or not, this is what I'm wanting to happen. I'm looking to match. We'll maybe catch a runner here, right?
Yeah.
Like we did yesterday. So that's kind of what I'm kind of looking at. So if volume stays low here and price kind of keeps creeping up, I'm liking the fact that this candle at 11.35 was long, but it also had a little bit of a rejection right there, right? So I kind of like that. Volume kind of stays low. If we can get this next candle to kind of creep up, I think it's going to be a great trade. And I just like the 8.25 area, 80.25 area, just because it's in a good spot for me. And I think if we can get one tick of heat into that, I think we're going to get more rejection around the 80.50 area. So I want to be in right in front of that, so I can hopefully catch a little bit of a rejection down. So we'll see here. So I'm in this real quick here. I got a tight stop. So we'll see.
Actually, they just picked me up. I'm in the trade.
We're both in the trade here. So we're both in the trade here. So
and I have a 1 point stop, profit and loss. So I'm not going to ride the train like you probably will.
Well, we'll see if it gets us, and it gets it. Well, first thing we have to do is get this point, right? So
yeah.
All right,
Speaking
we got a point.
Boom, got the point. Congrats.
Got a point. I'm gonna move. At this point, I'm gonna move to one tick into profit. So now I've got. Okay, so I got a point and a quarter out of that deal. So
Yeah.
So good job. That's a good trade right there, right? I mean,
Great trade.
to me, that is the textbook trade.
That is a
All
great
right.
trade.
Because and the reason I say that's a textbook trade is because we were going back into a very strong supply zone based off of previous that was demand has turned into supply, right? But I like the volume moving down. What I really like about this trade though is the 1135 candle right here. Okay, the 1135 candle was a good strong bullish candle, but it had a rejection wick. It didn't finish at the high. Does that make sense? It didn't close at the high.
Right.
Okay, so that tells me there's a little bit of rejection. In the very next candle, we have a smaller volume. Even though we're still intraday, we're only 2 minutes. We still have 2 minutes into this candle here, but at
Right.
the time when we got into this trade, volume wasn't very strong, and we knew we were going to get some rejection because of that area. So
Right.
that's one of the beautiful things about getting a point target is we can get it very quickly. Because if we get into a good area of rejection. So this to me is an ideal trade. Okay, we waited for it to come down. We waited for it to get good down move here, which I show in the long pink arrow line there. We had a good down move of strength. Took a little bit of a resting phase right here, back into our supply zone, and then I do believe still this thing's going to drop down. My trailer, I just moved my second position into profit pretty quickly, probably a little prematurely, but that's okay. That's how I do it. I go ahead and get into one tick, so I'm guaranteed to at least cover commissions, if nothing else. So I got a point and a quarter out of this, and you got a point. But I still believe that the market will move down at some point here. But I just feel like this was the trade worth waiting for, if that makes
Absolutely.
sense.
Yeah, and one thing here, and let me tell you what I did.
Yeah.
We had that zone. What zone was that? The 6. What was that? Hold on, let me zoom out a little bit. That is our 4. Was that our 4?
What are you looking at? The
6
demand
o'clock.
zone?
6 o'clock zone. Yeah, the zone we
Yeah, the
just came.
supply zone. Yeah, that's a 6 o'clock zone. Yeah.
Okay, so what I did is I took the 11:15 candle, just the
Okay.
wick high. I'm sorry,
That's
the wick
right.
low to the
That's right.
body open, and that reduced my zone from. So I reduced it from the 11:15 candle to the wick low to the open of that candle, and
Right.
I was to the bottom of the wick, to the wick low, and that's where I put my trade in, and that's where we both put our trade in actually 80 to 125.
Yeah.
And that's how I was able to reduce my zone to give me what I believe to be a better entry. What
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Because I did that earlier. I encompassed just that wick right there of that 11:15, like you spoke about, with
Okay.
our zone over here at 6 o'clock. I didn't go to the high of the 6 o'clock zone. I cut it and narrowed it based on that 11:15 wick. So your zone is actually just the wick of that, which is great. So that's a tight zone, and that's what we want. The tighter the zone, the better. And actually, it was timed perfectly. We took one tick of heat, which we have to take. People need to understand you're going to have to take one tick of heat because that's the trigger to get you into the trade. It's not going to just bump up to your trade and get you in. It has to go one tick against you to trigger you into the trade. And this is what we did. We took one tick of heat here. So that's when you know your entry is perfect. For that point in time, your entry is perfect. And that's
Right.
what we like. That's what we need to see. And that's what we shoot for here. We were very patient today. It's 11:41. We took that trade at 11:38 or 11:37, somewhere around there. We got our 1 point and got out. I got a point and a quarter, Soto got a point. That's because I had a multiple position going. But the beautiful thing is we took one tick of heat, man.
We did.
This is what I just don't, even you, Soto, don't really understand this yet. But people that have been doing this for a long time and trade the ES market say that can't be done. And they're just adamant about you can't do that. You can't take one that's too tight of a stop, 1 point. And it's just not. You have to prove, and it's been proven, and I've proved it over a very long period of time. You guys are proving it as students of what you've learned here. You're proving it, and you're doing hundreds % on your account return. So by just taking 1 point of heat, right? I mean, one
Yes.
point stops. So it's beautiful to see this done. So it can be done. So we're showing proof in live markets that you can have a 1 point stop and be very successful. It all comes down to how good your trades are, how good your entries are, and that's the key thing we have to have here is to know that. And we can do that day in and day out. And it can be proven over time that this can be done. So that's really good that you're seeing that in a live market. We're seeing price move the direction we wanted it to move a little bit longer now. I think that's going to at least come down to this low, I think, if not break that low. And we'll kind of see how that runs. But I think this is going to end up being a good runner by the end of the day, maybe. But either way, we don't care. We made our point, right? But it's just fun to kind of see market structures tend to see these pictures of things that continually happen and are going to happen. And as you learn the personality of the market, you'll realize things tend to repeat themselves as far as these patterns go. And what happens if you put all these tools together of the method, you tend to see the same things happening over and over. You'll get yourself a trade at least once a day, most likely, at some point in time where this method lines up, you know? So that's one of the neat things about watching this happen live, and people are it's just good to see it. You know, I've experienced it for a long time, but it's good to see that, hey, it happens, and you can see it happen right in front of your eyes, you know? So now we got to update, have to update this spreadsheet here.
We do.
Which is awesome, right?
I want to say this. I think I've taken it for granted just because, like you said, I don't have the experience or I didn't have any experience coming into trading since I met you, and so I didn't know that the 1 point stop is a tight stop. You know, that's all I've always known. So therefore, I've taken for granted that I can take. For the longest time, I've only taken one tick of heat. And you remember me telling you that? I was like, oh, man, I just took one tick of heat.
Yeah.
And like, man, that's phenomenal. And I was like, well, I mean, yeah, it's like, I guess. But and it is.
It is. Absolutely it is.
And I would get mad when I took 2-3 ticks of heat. I'm like, well, I only won one. And you're like, I'll take those all day.
Yeah, absolutely. My Lord.
So you're right.
I'd be okay with taking 3 ticks of heat every time. But
Right.
they take, like you said, the 1 tick of heat's awesome. Awesome.
It is.
So now you'll see the spreadsheet here. I just updated it. Instead of 2 points between us now, we made 2 1/4 points. So the total points made today was 4 1/4 points. Okay, which is after commissions, a few $100, which is great. And now we're up to 16-14 here. So you can see the 1 point works, man. 1 point works. That's all I can tell you. 1 point works. And we'll continue to build this spreadsheet so you can see that.
And again, that's as a team.
Yeah.
But like I said, to this date, everyone in the team has added a point. Some of us, like you, have added multiple points alone. Now, will you consider another trade here? Even though we were trick at the bottom, will you trade a little higher into the zone, or will you not at the same zone we got a point out of?
No, I wouldn't at this point. I'm not going to. It works, yeah. I mean, this is your second trade. This is your second trade in, and it would definitely have to be higher. And volume says you can trade, so yeah. I mean, it still meets criteria. It's just a little higher risk because it's the second entry in, but it still meets criteria. And obviously, hey, check it out. It would have worked, right? It would have been a good trade. Did you get it? Did you trade?
I did not. No, I didn't. I'm not trading anymore.
Yeah.
I'm really doing a one and done. Unless I see another zone, I will consider another trade. But I'm not going to retouch another already used zone, just at least for the next couple of weeks or months, just to show people that you don't have to reuse a zone and still come out on top. You're going to do really well.
Yeah,
So-
you're right, because the very first entry into the zone is always the best. It's always the most high probability where you're going to get rejection. So, because anytime you go back into that, you technically should be going a little bit higher, deeper into the zone because of order flow.
Yeah.
But so it's good you're showing the best entry into that's the main thing. Man, just get to where you wait for one trade, take the one entry in. And, I mean, if you can just follow simple rules and decide to just stick to that, you're going to do well. You're going to do well. Well, Soto man, I think that's probably a good place to end. You know, we both got hung out a little bit longer today, got our point. Exact same entry, exact same setup, and we made the exact same point, which is awesome. So I think we just kind of call it a day, man, and head on out of here. But a good day, 4.25 points up total, which was great. So I think it was just a good day. All right.
Yeah, man. Thank you for everything, and we'll see everybody tomorrow, 8 a.m. Central and 9 o'clock Eastern.
That's it. We'll see you in the morning, guys. Thanks a lot, and have a great day. Bye-bye.